Hey everyone! So, if you're any kind of creator, a YouTuber, a designer, a writer, maybe you run your own business, you know the struggle, right? You're always looking for that perfect piece of content for your project. You know how it is. You spend hours, maybe even days, just scrolling and scouring the internet for that one perfect image, or that little bit of video footage, or a cool historical map that's going to make your project pop. It's an endless and, let's be honest, pretty frustrating search. And then, even when you find something that looks promising, you get that little knot in your stomach. Is this really okay to use? Am I going to get a takedown notice? Or worse, a scary letter from a lawyer? It feels like you're navigating a legal minefield. Now, if you want to do things totally by the book, you usually have to pay up. And it's not cheap. Some of these high-end stock photo sites can charge $150 or even more for a license to use just a single photograph. I mean, that adds up so fast and can absolutely kill a project's budget. But what if I told you there's a hidden treasure chest? A massive, professionally created library of photos, videos, documents, and just so much more that you can use for literally anything, and I mean even commercial products, without paying a single dime.
The secret, the whole key, is understanding this one specific category of creative work that is automatically and immediately in the public domain, and that is works of the United States government.
So here's the official definition, straight up. If a federal employee creates something, whether it's a photo, a report, a map, or even software, as part of their official government job, it's considered a work of the U.S. government. And here's the kicker. U.S. law is specifically written so that these works are just ineligible for copyright protection right from the moment they're created. As the legal expert Stephen Fishman puts it, copyright law never protects them. It's not that the copyright expires, it literally never existed in the first place. And that means they don't enter the public domain after 95 years or something like that. They are born into it. They're free for every single one of us to use, to adapt, to build upon with no permission needed, ever. So what exactly is in this treasure chest? Well, you might want to brace yourself because it's pretty amazing. We are talking about a whole universe of high-quality content produced by some of the most advanced agencies on the planet. You get access to absolutely breathtaking photography, historic films, incredibly detailed maps from agencies like the U.S. Geological Survey, countless documents, and even scientific data and software. It's wild. Just think about it for a second. Every stunning image of a nebula that was taken by a NASA telescope, every single photo of an astronaut on a spacewalk, well, those were taken by government employees as part of their official duties. And that means those iconic, mind-blowing images of our universe are in the public domain. Or what about the National Archives and Records Administration, or NARA? This place is an absolute goldmine for documentary filmmakers, historians, or really anyone who needs authentic historical content. Famous photos, declassified documents, film reels from decades ago. It is all there for you. And then you've got the Library of Congress, which is like this massive, curated portal to all this stuff. They gather and organize all these public domain materials into these free-to-use and reuse sets on pretty much any topic you could possibly think of. And we are not just talking about, dry government reports. Look at this stuff. We've got iconic WPA posters from the 1930s, vintage baseball cards, beautiful Japanese fine prints, presidential papers, and even classic children's books. This totally shatters the myth that government work is boring. Okay, before you rush off and start downloading everything, there is one absolutely critical, most important rule you have to understand to use all this material safely and legally. And it all comes down to one question: who created the work? So does this public domain status apply to absolutely everything the government pays for? The answer to that is a very clear and simple no. And this distinction is vital. This slide here breaks down the key difference. If a work was made by a federal employee as part of their job, like, say, a NASA photographer, it's in the public domain. Simple. But if the government hires an outside company or a freelancer for a project, that contractor might be allowed to keep the copyright. So the bottom line is, you have to check who created it. So how do you actually verify it? Well, it's pretty straightforward. First, just check the source. The agency's website usually has guidelines on this. Then look for any credits. If you see a credit to a private company or a specific person who's not a government employee, that's a red flag. And finally, look for that little copyright symbol or notice. If you see one of those, the work is almost certainly not in the public domain.
All right, so now that you know the one big rule, let's talk about the incredible freedom this unlocks for you as a creator. What can you actually do with all this amazing content?
You can go wild. Seriously, you can print those stunning NASA photos on t-shirts and posters and sell them. You can use historical footage from the National Archives in a commercial documentary you're making. You could use those WPA posters as the cover for your next book or album. You could build an entire website or an app using these images. The possibilities are truly limited only by your imagination.
Just let this sink in for a moment. Because this work is in the public domain, you don't owe anyone royalties. You don't have to negotiate some complicated license. You don't even have to ask for permission. This is the very definition of creative freedom.
So, yeah, the US government has, by law, created one of the largest free creative archives in the entire world. And it belongs to the public. It belongs to you. So the only real question left is, what are you going to build with it?